Welcome. Since we're going on a road trip, I think we need to look at a map. And I always like to look at Google Maps. So even though this is not exactly, we can't really make on Google Maps the exact journey of Joseph due to some of the modern day boundary lines, it's still good to have a look at it. So if you walked this journey, according to Google Maps, it'd be 209 hours, more or less, starting out in Hebron and ending up in, I just put the ending of it in Cairo. Again, it's not easy to make Google Maps go exactly where you want to go due to modern day boundary lines. And I thought it might be fun to look at what some of the places along the way look like today. So this is Hebron, or someplace near modern day Hebron. So we can see what the countryside looks like now along the area where Joseph would have started off his journey. I'm fairly certain those buildings weren't there, but you can see what the vegetation in the countryside looks like as he's moving along, getting ready to go and find his brothers. So if we point it more or less northwest, there's the direction he'd been going. He would have been going in the view that he would have had. And it says that first he went to Shechem. Shechem was where the modern day city of Nablus is now. So there's what Nablus looks like. Most of this has been built since that time period, or I'm pretty sure all of it actually has been built since that time period. But again, it's just interesting to see how this area has developed. And so Shechem, Nablus, where Nablus is now, used to be Shechem, and that's where Joseph went to look for his brothers. If you want to know a little bit more about Shechem and some of the strangeness of Joseph's brothers going there, you should read Exodus 34, which is not G-rated, and you can find out a little bit more about that. And from Shechem, he found out that they weren't there anymore, so he moved on to Dothan. Now, that is now an archaeological site, so we're going to look at that, at some pictures that have been taken of that. So just to show you where we're going, Hebron, okay, Shechem, which again is now Nablus, right? This is the modern day version. Hebron, Nablus, okay, which was Shechem back then, okay? And then sidetracked to Dothan, which is where, again, things went sideways for Joseph. And then down to Egypt from there. So here's Dothan, which is an archaeological site now, so you can see some of these walls that are being sort of reconstructed. But that does actually look like a really good place to graze sheep, so you can kind of see the surrounding countryside there. And interestingly enough, you can also see cisterns there. I'm almost 100% sure that these cisterns are way too new to have been anywhere close to the thing, you know, what Joseph would have ended up in, but it's still interesting that on that same location you can find those there. And so there you go. That's Dothan. And then we're told that Midianites were coming down on a trading road, Ishmaelites. So this was probably Joseph's last view as a free man right here. And then he went on from there to Egypt. So probably it looks something like this, although this is a mosque, so we know for sure that wasn't there. But here's our palm trees and our vegetation, completely different landscape from what he was used to. And that's how that's what Joseph's journey would have more or less looked like as he went from Hebron to Shechem to Dothan, and then finally ended up right here in Egypt. Alrighty.